Greetings, my friends. I want to thank you all for subscribing to this channel. If you are a subscriber, please check to make sure that you are still subscribed because YouTube unsubscribes people every day. And if you have not subscribed, please consider supporting this channel. We could use your help in our war to save pop culture. Thank you and enjoy the video. Star Trek Lower Decks continues to evolve, and this episode is a challenge to review because it is the best episode of Kurtzman Trek by far, and would almost be enjoyable if it were not for the show's obsession with humiliating the white male character in every way possible and demonstrating that even when Mocky Spock is wrong, she's right. Titled Cupid's Errant Arrow, this episode is all about Boimler getting a fabulous girlfriend, and Mocky Spock knowing this is absolutely impossible because no one could ever be attracted to Boimler, right? And so under the guise of trying to protect her little buddy from getting hurt, Mocky Spock spends the entire episode obsessing over proving that no one could ever find Boimler even remotely acceptable as a boyfriend, proving there's something wrong with Boimler's romantic interest, and making damn sure that by the end of the episode, Boimler is as miserable as possible. This is what passes for fun with Kurtzman Trek. It is a fundamental flaw, an almost psychotic need to strike a blow against the patriarchy and prove that Mocky Spock is the bestest ever. That is a radioactive lump of suck at the heart of Star Trek Lower Decks. A fatal conceptual flaw it will never be able to rise above. Too bad. Other than a crazy need to humiliate one particular character over and over again for insane political reasons, this episode wasn't bad. In this episode, once again, because the USS Cheetos is too sad and silly a ship to ever do anything major on its own, Captain Mommy and the crew of the Cheetos are rendezvousing with another very fancy new starship, the USS Vancouver, in order to jointly collapse a moon that is threatening to crash down into the planet below, basically killing everyone. Captain Mommy runs into resistance from the people on the planet who worship the moon, blah blah blah, but in the end they agree with Captain Mommy's compromise proposal to appease them, a proposal too boring to go into. Suffice it to say, all the various civilizations in the system agree to the proposal, all except one, who says her solution will destroy their entire civilization. Ultimately, the tagline of this B story is that this entire civilization is actually just one rich guy and his wife, and they shrug and they say, okay, go ahead and collapse the moon. And he goes, and we just installed new flooring. Whatever. The important part of this is Boimler met a girl on the Vancouver several months back, Lieutenant Barbara Brinson. They really hit it off and are now a couple, and he's looking forward to seeing her again. Of course, this is absolutely unacceptable to Mocky Spock, who assumes that she must be a hologram, or a salt vampire, or a Suliban, or an android. It's some nice callbacks to original better versions of Star Trek, but unfortunately, these admittedly amusing member berries that demonstrate at least an awareness of Star Trek on the part of the writer of this episode are all deployed in service of absolutely demolishing and belittling Boimler. Mocky Spock's absolute determination to ruin Boimler's happiness, presented under the camouflage of Mocky Spock wanting to protect him from getting hurt by Barbara's deception as a salt vampire or android or alien parasite, is absolutely the entire point of the episode, if not the series. I think Star Trek Lower Decks is meant entirely as a punishment for sexism and or slavery and or colonialism and or white stuff like yodeling and square dancing and golf. This obsession with humiliating Boimler is the one overriding theme of Star Trek Lower Decks, and I think without that obsession, this episode could have shined. It was the first episode of Kurtzman's Star Trek I was able to watch all the way through without pausing to write angry diatribes or projectile vomit. This episode moves well. It intelligently and appropriately deploys member berries to make jokes, which is really what a Star Trek comedy should do. Mostly, it isn't really attacking Star Trek or Star Trek fans, at least not as obviously as the past episodes did, and there was no need to pause every 30 seconds to rant, drink, rinse, and repeat. And while I knew that certainly Mocky Spock would be proven right, that she would absolutely ruin Boimler's happiness once again, that Boimler would be exposed as a complete and total loser schmuck who could absolutely never find any happiness with a woman, while all of that was as painfully apparent as the fact that the word Kurtzman itself is an anagram of I will absolutely destroy Star Trek because I suck as a writer and hate everything about it, and hey, I'm available for hire. You may ask how that's an anagram when it has so many more letters than Kurtzman, but hey, if he can have sonar in space, I can make anagrams that aren't, because I like science too. But despite knowing what would happen, I wasn't sure exactly how it would happen, and in the end, the script actually made sense and was coherent, which puts it ahead of 95% of Kurtzman's output on Star Trek. So why is this wonderful woman attracted to poor, humiliated, unlovable Boimler? Get this, gang. Turns out Mocky Spock was right again. It's because of an alien parasite. But the parasite isn't Barbara trying to fool Boimler, a gag they already used, by the way, with a shapeshifter. Boimler, what a loser. May his wiener wither and drop off. No. In this case, the parasite is actually hiding in Boimler's hair. Yes, my friends, they pulled the parasite off of Boimler's head, and consulting the data banks, they learned that this parasite reproduces by giving off pheromones that make its host attractive to women. So it was a parasite all along after all. Of course, Boimler sucks too much to ever find happiness. In fact, at the end of the episode, the natural order is reestablished. Barbara brushes off Boimler and makes a date with Mocky Spock to hang out because now, unhampered by an alien parasite, Barbara clearly sees that Mocky Spock is the bestest evar. So order is restored, the universe is set right, Boimler is humiliated and broken and alone again, and Mocky Spock has stolen his girl. Ain't love grand? There's a problem with this episode, of course, namely, if Boimler had a parasite that was emitting pheromones to make him attractive, why wouldn't Mocky Spock be attracted to him, working in his proximity as she was far more closely than Barbara, who was on another ship? It's probably because Barbara is a white female, so, she's problematic in some extent. She has a lot to answer for as well, and of course, Mocky Spock, being the bestest ever, is immune to that sort of thing. My favorite part of the episode, the alien parasite himself. He actually cracked me up, growling and snapping and muttering to himself in his containment tube. Too bad he only came at the end of the episode. I wish he could be a recurring character. Hell, I'd watch a whole series with this crabby little nut. But alas, we'll probably never see him again. But he just goes to show that without the agenda, the politics, the hate for a certain class of people, and Kurtzman's pernicious influence that permeates this franchise now like a wet fart in a spacesuit, this could have been a nice, funny little show. As it is, I give it the Vulcan FU. But if someone makes a toy of the alien parasite, yeah, I'll buy it. I really liked that guy. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry.